Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling a question that I think is on just about everyone's mind.
Yeah.
How do you spot a truly good idea?
Right.
Not just, a shiny object,
Yeah.
but one with real potential.
Absolutely.
We've got a stack of research for you today, folks.
Yeah.
Case studies, even some notes on how AI is changing the game, all to help you become like an idea evaluating prober.
Yeah. It's fascinating because we're not just talking about opinions here.
Right.
We're diving into frameworks that expert product strategists actually use.
Oh, wow.
Things like DVFU and WMBT.
Okay.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll be able to use them too.
Love it. So just for everyone out there, DVFU stands for desirability, viability, feasibility, and usability.
Don't edit.
WMBT is what must be true.
Exactly.
These are our secret weapons today.
Our tools.
Yeah, our tools.
Yeah.
But before we get like tactical,
Right.
let's talk about the big picture product market fit.
Right. Because even the most brilliant idea is useless if nobody wants it or if it can't make money.
Yeah.
Product market fit is that sweet spot where your idea meets a hungry market willing to pay.
Okay.
And remember, profitability is the ultimate proof, not just a bunch of downloads or likes.
Yeah. And then you might be thinking of companies like Airbnb.
Right.
They'll totally disrupted the travel industry, right?
Absolutely. They found that product market fit early on. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It can be fleeting.
Hmm.
Airbnb is a perfect example.
Okay.
They're now facing rising prices, stricter regulations, and hotels are fighting back with their own unique offerings.
Interesting.
It just shows that achieving product market fit isn't a one-time victory. It's an ongoing battle.
Makes you think, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's break down this DVFU framework.
Okay.
Starting with desirability.
Right.
What does this even mean in the real world?
So desirability is all about truly understanding your target audience.
Okay.
What keeps them up at night? What problems are they desperately trying to solve?
Right.
And importantly, how are they currently dealing with those problems?
Yeah.
Because if your idea doesn't solve a real pain point better than the existing solutions,
Right.
you're in trouble.
It's like trying to sell ice to Eskimos.
Right, exactly.
No matter how good your ice is, they've already got it figured out.
You need to offer something genuinely desirable, something people crave.
Okay.
Now, once you've nailed desirability, it's time to look at viability.
Okay. Viability, this is where we put on our business hats, right?
You got it.
Can we actually turn this amazing idea into a profitable venture?
Viability is all about crunching the numbers.
Okay.
How big is the potential market?
Yeah.
What are the costs involved? What's our pricing strategy?
Right.
Can we create sustainable revenue streams?
Right.
You can have a product that people absolutely adore,
Yeah.
but if the financials don't add up,
Right.
it's not going to fly.
So desirability checks if people want it. Viability checks if we can make money from it.
Uh-huh.
What about feasibility?
Okay.
Is this even something we can actually build?
Feasibility is where we get real about our resources and limitations.
Right.
Do we have the right team, the necessary technology? Can we build this within our budget and timeline?
Mm-hmm.
It's about understanding the technical constraints and being honest about what's achievable.
Yeah, it's like that reality check when you're planning a home renovation, right?
Perfect analogy.
You might have grand visions of a gourmet kitchen, but if your budget only allows for like a fresh coat of paint, you need to adjust your expectations.
Exactly. And finally, we have usability,
Okay.
which is all about making sure people can actually use and enjoy your product.
Right.
Because let's face it, even the most groundbreaking idea is worthless if it's too complex or frustrating to use.
Usability is key. Nobody wants to spend hours deciphering a user manual just to figure out how to turn on the darn thing.
Right.
It needs to be intuitive, user-friendly, and ideally even delightful to use.
Think about the apps and websites you use every day.
Right.
The ones that feel effortless, the ones you keep coming back to. That's the power of good usability.
So to recap, DVFU helps us evaluate an idea from all angles.
Yeah.
Do people want it? Can we make money from it? Can we build it? And can people actually use it?
You got it.
Seems like a pretty solid checklist to me.
It is.
But you also mentioned this WMBT framework.
Yes.
What must be true?
All right.
Tell me more about that.
WMBT is all about challenging our assumptions.
Okay.
Because you know what they say about assumptions, right?
Yeah.
They can make a real mess of things.
Make an ass out of you and me.
That's right. And in the world of ideas, bad assumptions can be fatal.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me a real-world example of how bad assumptions can derail even a seemingly brilliant idea.
Remember that time Hertz dropped a whopping $4 billion on Tesla rentals?
Yeah, that was a bold move.
They assumed everyone would be clamoring to drive a Tesla, especially vacationers.
What happened?
It backfired spectacularly.
Oh.
They overestimated customer demand for EVs, underestimated the costs and infrastructure challenges, and didn't account for the learning curve for new EV users.
Wow.
Assumptions, assumptions, assumptions.
Ouch, that's a costly lesson. So WMBT helps us avoid those idea-killing pitfalls.
Exactly. It's a 4-step process.
Right.
First, we identify all the assumptions we're making about our customers, the market, and our business model.
Okay.
Then we prioritize which assumptions are absolutely mission critical.
So not all assumptions are created equal.
Right. Some are riskier than others.
Okay.
Step 3 is framing those crucial assumptions
Huh?
as testable hypotheses.
Right.
And finally, we design experiments to validate or invalidate those hypotheses.
Hmm.
It's about turning assumptions into testable propositions, gathering data, and making informed decisions.
Sounds like a scientific approach to idea evaluation.
It is.
I like it. Can you give me an example of a company using WMBT effectively?
Let's look at Target.
Okay.
They're rolling out a new membership program called Circle 360, aiming to compete with Amazon Prime by offering free delivery and other perks for $99 a year.
Interesting.
Now, they could just assume people will flock to this,
Right.
but that's a dangerous game.
Especially since Target is known for its in-store experience, not necessarily its delivery speed.
Right.
What are some of the assumptions they're testing with WMBT?
First, they're assuming customers will find enough value in the program to justify that $99 price tag.
Okay.
Second, they're assuming their infrastructure can handle the increased online order volume
Right.
without compromising delivery times or customer satisfaction.
Makes sense.
And of course, they're assuming they can actually compete with the behemoth that is Amazon Prime.
So how would they actually test those assumptions using WMBT?
They could conduct customer surveys to gauge interest in the program and willingness to pay.
Okay.
They could analyze customer behavior during promotional periods to see how free delivery impacts shopping habits.
Right.
And they could even stress test their supply chain with simulated order volumes to ensure they can handle the surge.
So instead of just hoping for the best, they're gathering data to make informed decisions.
Exactly.
I'm definitely starting to see the power of WMBT.
It's a game changer. Remember, assumptions are often the silent killers of good ideas.
Yeah.
WMBT helps us shine a light on those hidden risks and make smarter decisions.
Okay. We've got DVFU and WMBT in our toolkit now.
Right.
We've even seen how crucial these frameworks are with real-world examples like Hertz and Target.
Right.
But I'm curious, are there any other cautionary tales out there?
Yeah.
Companies who tripped over bad assumptions and paid the price.
There's one that comes to mind. Let's talk about Bilt,
Okay.
a company that partnered with Wells Fargo to launch a credit card specifically for renters.
Renters. That's an interesting niche. What went wrong there?
On the surface, it seemed brilliant.
Okay.
Bilt offered rewards on rent payments, something no other card did.
Oh, wow.
They gained over 1 million users in just 18 months. But they made a few critical assumptions that ultimately backfired.
Okay. I'm all ears. What assumptions led to their downfall?
Well, they assumed that customers would carry balances on the card,
Oh,
generating interest income for Wells Fargo.
right.
However, savvy cardholders quickly paid off their balances each month,
Oh,
minimizing those interest charges.
so they underestimated the financial savviness of their target audience. What else?
They also overestimated the revenue they'd generate from transaction fees on non-rent purchases. It turns out people primarily used the card for rent payments, limiting those additional fees.
Oh.
And here's the real kicker. They assumed they could effectively manage fraud and money laundering risks.
Oh, no.
But their account controls weren't robust enough, leading to significant losses for Wells Fargo.
Wow, that's a tough lesson.
Yeah.
So even with a seemingly brilliant idea, overlooking key assumptions can have disastrous financial consequences.
It can.
What could Bilt and Wells Fargo have done differently? How could WMBT have saved the day?
They could have run a smaller pilot program testing the card with a limited group of customers
Right.
before a nationwide rollout. This would have given them valuable data on actual balance rollover rates, the percentage of non-rent transactions, and the effectiveness of their fraud detection systems.
A bit of real-world testing could have saved them a lot of heartache and a lot of money.
It could have.
I'm really seeing the value of a more data-driven approach to launching new ideas.
That's the beauty of WMBT. It's all about mitigating risk and increasing your chances of success.
Right.
It's not just about proving your idea, right? It's about uncovering those potential pitfalls before they turn into major problems.
All right, so we've got DVFU and WMBT under our belts, and we've seen how crucial they are with real-world examples.
Yes.
Now I'm ready to dive into the world of AI
Okay.
and see how it's shaking things up in the realm of product development.
Great. Let's explore how artificial intelligence is changing the game. And trust me,
Okay.
it's not all about robots stealing our jobs.
Okay, so we've tackled these frameworks for evaluating ideas, but what about the role of AI?
Right.
It feels like every day there's a new headline about AI taking over the world.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hype, some of it bordering on fear-mongering.
Hmm.
But the reality of AI's impact is much more nuanced than those headlines suggest.
So it's not all about robots coming for our jobs.
Not exactly. AI is less about replacing humans entirely
Okay.
and more about augmenting our capabilities.
Okay.
Think of it as a powerful tool that can streamline processes and free us up to focus on tasks that require uniquely human skills.
Like creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, those things robots aren't so good at.
Exactly. Now let's get specific.
Okay.
What does this look like in different industries?
Yeah.
In healthcare, AI is already being used to accelerate drug discovery
Wow.
and enable personalized medicine, tailoring treatments to individual patients based on their genetic makeup.
That's incredible. It's like AI is helping us unlock medical breakthroughs faster and make healthcare more targeted and effective.
Yeah.
What about other industries?
In retail, AI is personalizing shopping experiences, offering recommendations based on your past purchases and browsing history. It's also optimizing inventory management, making sure products are available when and where customers need them.
So no more frustrating out-of-stock messages.
Yeah,
I can get behind that.
hopefully. And then there's education.
Yeah.
AI is being used to create personalized learning paths,
Okay.
tailoring educational content to each student's strengths and weaknesses. It's providing real-time feedback,
Right.
helping students identify areas for improvement,
Yeah.
and it's even automating administrative tasks for teachers,
Wow.
freeing up their time to focus on actual teaching and mentoring.
It's like AI is taking the one-size-fits-all approach to education and turning it into a customized learning experience for every student. That's pretty amazing.
It is, and I think it highlights the real power of AI.
Yeah.
It's not about replacing humans, but about empowering them, giving them the tools to do what they do best, only better and more efficiently.
Okay. That's a much more optimistic view of AI than what we usually hear. But before we get too excited about this AI-powered future,
Right.
I have to ask, what about meetings?
Oh, meetings.
There's still a major productivity killer, even with all this technology at our disposal.
Don't even get me started. I have a very strong opinion about excessive meetings.
Do tell.
I have a feeling we're on the same page here.
I think too many meetings are a creativity killer. They suck the life out of innovation.
Right.
It's like trying to design a spaceship in a boardroom.
Yeah.
It's just not the right environment for those big, bold ideas to flourish.
I couldn't agree more so. How do we break free from this meeting madness?
We need to fundamentally change how we approach communication and collaboration.
Okay.
Companies like Amazon have figured this out. They're known for their PR FAQ approach,
Okay.
where teams write detailed documents
Great.
outlining their ideas, proposed solutions, and potential challenges instead of jumping into endless meetings.
Interesting. So it's about putting everything in writing, forcing people to think things through more thoroughly before they schedule a meeting. Exactly. It's about clarity, efficiency, and respecting everyone's time and cognitive bandwidth.
Right.
And honestly, once you experience the freedom of a less meeting-heavy work life,
Yeah.
there's no going back.
Okay, you've convinced me. I'm ready to declare war on unnecessary meetings.
Right.
But how do we actually make this happen? How do we change the culture?
It starts with 3 core principles.
Okay.
First, adopt an asynchronous first mindset.
Okay.
If something can be communicated in writing or a recording, do it.
So emails, memos, videos, anything to avoid that knee-jerk reaction of scheduling a meeting.
Precisely. Second, every meeting needs to have a crystal clear purpose and measurable outcomes.
Okay.
No more vague agendas or meandering discussions. And finally, be ruthless about attendance. Only invite the people who absolutely need to be there.
I love it. Lean, mean, purpose-driven meetings.
There you go.
But I have to be honest, even with the best intentions,
Right.
meetings can still go off the rails.
They can.
Any tips for keeping things on track and productive?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about 5 actionable tips.
Okay.
First, embrace modern meeting tools that support asynchronous communication.
Okay.
Think shared workspaces, real-time collaboration platforms, and even visual engagement tools to break up those monotonous slideshows.
So we're ditching those boring PowerPoint presentations for something more dynamic and interactive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is where AI can be incredibly helpful.
Mm.
Use AI-powered tools
Right.
to automate meeting management tasks like note-taking summarization and action item tracking.
It's like having a super organized, always-on meeting assistant who never forgets a deadline or loses a sticky note. I'm sold. What's next?
Take a page from military communication.
Okay.
Use clear keywords and email subject lines to indicate the intent of the message.
So subject lines like action required or info only. I like it straight to the point.
Exactly. And if you're in a hybrid or remote work environment, make those in-person meetings really count.
Okay.
Focus on those high-value activities that actually benefit from face-to-face interaction.
Right.
Like brainstorming, strategic planning, and team building.
No more commuting just to sit on Zoom calls all day. That's music to my ears. What's the final tip?
Tie every meeting to specific business objectives.
Oh.
Make sure every attendee understands how the meeting's purpose connects to the bigger picture.
So no more meetings that feel aimless and disconnected from what we're actually trying to achieve?
Exactly. By implementing these tips, you'll not only reduce the number of meetings, but the meetings you do have will be more focused, engaging, and aligned with your overall goals.
I'm feeling empowered to reclaim my calendar and my sanity.
Good.
But before we wrap up this deep dive into good ideas,
Yeah.
I have one last question.
Okay.
In a world overflowing with ideas, how can we ensure our own ideas stand out?
Right.
How do we make sure they have a real impact?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one we'll address in our final segment.
So we spent this whole deep dive talking about, how to evaluate ideas and spot the good ones and avoid those costly mistakes.
Right.
But now I'm curious, what about our own ideas?
Yeah.
In a world, flooded with innovation,
Right.
how do we make sure our ideas get heard and actually make an impact?
That's the challenge, isn't it? It's not enough to just have a good idea.
Right.
You need to be able to articulate it, refine it, and ultimately convince others of its value.
Right.
And those frameworks we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
DVFU and WMBT,
Uh-huh.
they're not just for judging other people's ideas. They're
Yeah.
incredibly useful for strengthening your own.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah,
So instead of just getting excited about our own brilliant ideas,
right.
we need to put them through the same rigorous evaluation process.
Exactly. Let's say you've got this amazing idea for a new product.
Okay.
Run it through the DVFU filter.
Okay.
Is it truly desirable? Does it solve a real problem for your target audience better than any existing solution? Is it viable as a business? Can you build it with the resources you have, and will people actually be able to use it?
Yeah.
These questions force you to think critically and identify potential weaknesses early on.
So we're essentially stress testing our own ideas, trying to poke holes in them before someone else does.
Precisely. And once you've done that, it's time for WMBT.
Okay.
What must be true for this idea to succeed? List out all those assumptions, prioritize the critical ones, turn them into testable hypotheses, and then design experiments to see if those hypotheses hold up.
So it's like creating a risk register for our own ideas, identifying those potential points of failure and figuring out how to mitigate them.
That's a great way to put it. And by going through this process, you're not only refining your idea and increasing its chances of success,
Right.
you're also demonstrating a level of rigor and thoughtfulness that can be incredibly persuasive to stakeholders,
It's like saying, hey, I didn't just dream this up last night.
right?
I've actually thought this through. I've tested my assumptions and I'm confident this idea has legs.
Exactly. That kind of preparation and validation can make all the difference when you're trying to get buy-in from investors, executives, or even your own team. It shows you're serious about your idea and you've done your homework.
This is great advice. But I have to be honest, sometimes, even with the best preparation, good ideas still get overlooked.
It happens.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners who might be feeling discouraged?
Never underestimate the power of persistence and resilience. The path of innovation is rarely a straight line. You will face setbacks, rejections, and moments of doubt.
Right.
But it's during those tough times that your passion and belief in your idea will make all the difference.
So it's about embracing that messy, iterative process and never giving up on the ideas we truly believe in.
Absolutely. And remember, you don't have to go it alone.
Hmm.
Find mentors, build a network of collaborators, and surround yourself with people who inspire you and challenge you to think bigger. Of course, if you ever need help refining your product strategy, validating your assumptions, or just want to bounce ideas off a team of experts, well, You know where to find us.
That's right. Good ideas. Only is here to help you turn those sparks of inspiration into game-changing realities.
And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Wow, time really does fly when you're exploring the world of good ideas.
It really does.
Well, I hope this episode has equipped you with the tools and insights to not only spot good ideas,
Yeah,
but to cultivate and champion your own.
absolutely.
So the next time that light bulb moment hits,
Yeah.
don't let it fade away. Put it through the DVFU and WMBT ringer. Challenge your assumptions and never give up on those ideas that have the potential to change the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Until next time, keep those ideas flowing.
And keep diving deep.